Daith da, Obi Nagan. Welcome to podcast number 161. So last week, I think we got to Friday. We had a lovely private little service in the morning. Again, one of these at 9 o'clock with just a small number of people there. And then in the afternoon, we was at Nance. And I always love going Nance because obviously my grandparents, they lived there for about 30 years. And father, in his late teens for a few years, he lived there too. And the church we go to is, 20 yards up the road from their cottage, I suppose. So it is lovely going back there. Obviously, it's changed so much. The little shop, post office is all gone now, even though the village is, doubled in size, if not more, from when they lived there years ago. But we had Marjorie's funeral, and it was a lovely little service there in the church. And then the old tradition, we walked all the way up to the cemetery for the burial, which went really well. And then also in the afternoon, we said our final goodbye to Jan as we interred her ashes there at Eglesale. I can't remember much about Saturday, to be honest. I think we went for a walk in the morning. Oh, yeah, we met Elsie. We had a walk in the morning. But Sunday, we did manage to get out on our push bikes. First time for ages. And it didn't go very well. I got a bike I use more for the winter and pumped up the tyres. Everything was fine. We thought we'd head up round St. Brewer Delphi way. So when we got to St. Mabon, which is 3 miles from our cottage where we live, I noticed that the front tyre, the pressure was going down. And sure enough, he was going flat. Now, you might know about bicycle wheels and tyres. They've changed the last few years. You always had an inner tube and you pump them up, or you had a spare inner tube if you had a puncture. Well, these days, the more popular thing that's coming in is tubeless tyres, where they glue the tyre to the wheel and then they fill the wheel with this sealant. So as your tyre's going round, as you're cycling, if you get a little puncture that isn't too big, the sealant within 2 or 3 rotations seals it, repairs the cut. It's hellish clever, really. But if you get a big puncture, you beggar then, really. But I think where it went wrong, because I hadn't used the bike for ages, the pressure had gone down. And I reckon where the tyre was stuck to the wheel, I reckon there must have been a little bit there that perhaps went 100%. So I coasted back, perhaps 1.5 miles. And I thought, I can't go no more because I could beggar up this wheel because you could feel it going down even more. So there's a little triangle of land there with the signpost pointing down to Ingham Mill. So I waited there while Beth carried on, got the van and come and pick me up. So we went back home, had a cup of coffee, and then we went out again. We went slightly different route next time, went up Pendavy Hill, and again, then we went, where did we go then? Up the Bodman Camelford Road, and then cut in round St. Teth and everything. But we had a lovely ride. It was really good. But that was me Sunday. And then on to this week. Well, we've had a few again of these direct cremations that we do. Like I said a few weeks before, we do them here locally at Glyn Valley. We're cheaper than that pure cremation company, and they do their funerals up in Andover. So we've had a few of those. We had Eddie's funeral on Monday too. And that was at Glyn Valley. Crowds of people there. And the Weybridge Bowling Club was there out in force. And it was lovely to see so many of them wearing their club colours, which was brilliant. Tuesday was a day of paperwork, really. And again, today was, I'm recording this now on the Friday, and I had a couple of clear days. So you think, right, I'll get on. But 'tis always so hectic here. The phone's going, there's people coming in, there's things to do. You always leave work at the end of the day and you haven't achieved half of what you wanted to, really. And then we had a memorial service there on Wednesday at Eglesale for Carol. And this follows on from a private cremation we had a few weeks before, which is another way of doing funerals. And it was a lovely, relaxed feel, I must admit. And it was lovely to see so many people there. I did have my hair cut as well on Wednesday. I always say I have my hair cut twice a year, whether I need it or not. So that was that. And then yesterday, we was down Perthilly, St Michael's Church. I've just, in the last couple of hours, I put a video on our Joybringer Facebook page because 'tis handsome down there. Unfortunately, the tide was out. We are down there in a few weeks' time again. I'm hoping the tide might be in then. It still looks lovely. I mean, it's got a hang of a big beach, but 'tis lovely when the tide is in as well. So I put the video on. Lovely little church, looking over to Padstow. And the church was nearly full. I mean, Shirley, she'd been a part of Rock for so many years. I mean, they've run the clock garage there for such a long time. And church was full. But that's been me week, really. So it's been a little bit quieter. We did have a couple of calls one night. I was up Mother's, just done her tea. I think it was about 6:15, ready to leave. I was to go home. And we had a call from a nursing home in Saltash. So we went up to Saltash. I think we got back about 8:30, 8:45. And then just before midnight, I think about 10 to 12, we had another call from St Austell. So we was out again. I think I got back into bed about 1:45. And I was wide awake then. It was gutting, really. I couldn't get back to sleep. But, so that was the same night. But we haven't had any other calls during the night since then as such. But, so that's been my week anyway. So we'll now go over to part 2 of my interview with Phil. And this is where he talks the majority about his police career. We might get it all in, or I might cut it a little bit short to even up the time, because it will be on again next week. So I'll hand over to Phil now, and I'll speak to you directly. So then back home to Cornwall?
No.
Oh, no.
If you joined Devon and Cornwall, if you were from Cornwall, then your first posting would be in Devon.
Oh, would it really?
Yeah, because they didn't want you working in your home environment.
No, I see.
And likewise, anybody joining from Devon got put down into Cornwall.
Oh, right, okay.
So my first posting was painting.
Oh, was it? Right.
Yeah. Never been there before. Couldn't believe it when I went up there because everything was red.
Right.
Because you got red sheep, red cows, all the soil's red, the beaches are red, and it wasn't proper.
And you're from Red Roof?
I know, so that was the only time I've actually lived in England was when I went up there.
Good grief.
So I did, you do your training at Champmore, you come back to Middlemore for a couple of weeks, and then I went out to painting, and for the first 5 or 6 weeks, you're working with a tutor constable who's sort of supervising what you do.
Yeah.
And they try and get you to deal with as many different jobs as possible. But it was a good ground in there. We were spoilt in some ways because you had Torquay to one side, Brixham in the other, so you always had loads of manpower there.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
But as a probationary station, it was good.
Yeah. Different policing to what you were doing at the end, I would imagine?
Very different. Very different. They talk funny up there as well.
Do them really?
Yeah. Like you. Well, you do talk a bit strange because the dialect and accent up here is totally different to West Cornwall.
Is it really? Yeah.
You say fiddy or fitty?
Viddy, we say.
We say fiddy. We say fiddy handsome. You say viddy.
Viddy, yeah.
And it's a different dialect. But painting was good. I had a good ground in there. I ended up going up to St Paul Riots in Bristol.
Did you?
Yeah, totally unexpected. I was, because most of the big police stations had their own club, a little bar, and I was in there one night, and the inspector walked in and said, "Do you fancy going to Bristol?"
Right.
I only got about 12 months in. I said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Well, go home and get changed." So I came down, and it was the Bristol Riots.
Oh.
So this was about 9 o'clock in the evening, came down, uniform on, went up to Middlemore, met up with a load of other lads, and we went up to Bristol, and we got up there in the early hours, by which time the main riot had finished.
Right.
So they put us in an old army barracks that they opened up for the night. And we literally slept on sort of straw beds.
Yeah.
And then the next morning we went into St Paul's, and for me it was a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
To go into an inner city and see all the damage that had been done.
Exactly.
And of course it was a multicultural society as well, which I wasn't used to. It was a real eye-opener.
What caused those riots then?
If you speak to Stan Spry...
Oh, right, yeah.
He was up there when it started. I'm not saying he was the cause of it.
I was going to say that.
But he was certainly there at the start of it.
I will have a word with him then.
Yeah. But it was good grounding, and because I was sort of new up there, a lot of the locals didn't know me, and me and another chap were asked to go on a licensing job over in Totnes, which was the next town over.
Yeah.
And there has been complaints that had been after hours drinking, and we were told, go in there and see how long you can stay in there, which was great.
Yeah, undercover.
Yeah. So we sort of dressed up and go over there, but what they didn't tell us it was a biker's pub.
Oh, no.
And as we got there was a fight going on with the police outside, so we sort of hid our face for a minute or two, and it calmed down. We went in, and it wasn't long before the landlord come over and said, here, you police? And, well, no, we're RAF. He said, where are you stationed? I said, Bryce Norton. Mother lives in Bryce Norton, he said. So, really? Well, we've just been transferred up from St Morgan's, so we don't really know the area yet. He said, all right. So we got chatting. He said, will you sign this petition for us? Just stick your name and address on there, because I want a music licence, and the bloody police won't give us one. So we had to sign this thing, but we stayed there till 1 o'clock. So that was good.
Oh, brilliant. Did you put your real name?
No. Well, no, I'm not. I might come from a truth, David, but thank you for that. Brilliant. Oh. So I was there. I did my probation, which was sort of 2 years, and then I came down to Newquay.
All right.
And that was totally different to Torbay.
Yeah,
totally different.
Imagine, yeah.
Paynton was seasonal. Newquay was very seasonal. Wintertime, very quiet. Summertime, very, very busy.
Yeah.
But we had a brilliant boss there. It was his town. He did things his way. It couldn't happen now the way he worked.
No.
But if he had an issue with parking, he'd go out and paint his own double yellow lines.
Was he really?
Oh, yeah. And we had a street that the highways made it one way, and he didn't agree with it. So he went on nights and cut all the signs down.
No. Get away.
They kept him in the garage for ages. He was brilliant to work for. Really, really. He was unorthodox, but he was good as gold.
Yeah. God. Any work colleagues you remember names of them?
Well, when I went there, Alfie Finnimore was there.
Was he really?
Fred Hardy.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Fred was there. Jeff Provis.
Yeah.
Provis.
Yeah.
He was on CID, so I remembered a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I was there for about 8 years, I suppose. But it was a young man's station. Summertime, it would get so busy in Newquay, they would draft in extra staff.
I see. Yeah.
So you'd have probably 7 or 8 single people come in.
Yeah.
And the police station down there was built with single quarters in it as well.
Oh, was it?
But the other side of that was, because you had so many visitors coming down, they'd get into trouble, get bailed, and never come back down again.
Right.
So you circulate them as wanted, and you'd find you come in 2 o'clock of an afternoon for a late turn, and the boss would say, there's one up in Liverpool, will you go and get him?
No.
So we had an unmarked white, it was a Cortina estate back then, and it was used basically for doing escort works. We'd go straight up to Liverpool, pick up the prisoner, straight back down again.
2-man job, I suppose.
That was, yeah. And we had one day, and he'd gone to Jersey, and he was picked up by the police over there. So the boss rang me up and said, would you mind flying out to Jersey with someone else and pick him up? We said, no, that's no problem. So we went up to Plymouth, parked the car up, and back then you could fly from Plymouth.
Yeah.
And the weather wasn't too good. It was a bit hazy, misty. So we were delayed taking off, so we had a cup of tea, another cup of tea. And then get on the plane, and you think, I should have gone to the loo before I got on the plane.
Yeah.
Got to Jersey, and the pilot said, well, because of the weather, I don't think I can land.
Oh, no.
He said, I'll give it one try. Well, we were bursting by now. So he did manage to get it down, and we ran into the terminal, dropped our 2 bags on the floor, and went off to the loo. Yeah. Of course, we come back, the concourse has been cleared, because there's 2 bags. And
oh, no.
So he said, I suppose you're from Devon and Cornwall? Yeah. So he took us off to the hotel. And he said, my partner, she's a nurse, and the doctor that's leaving tonight, he's having a party, so you're welcome to come along.
Right.
So we said, yeah, we'll do that. So he picks us up and we go to this place. But what he didn't tell us was it was a gay bar. So we walk in and we got introduced to Geraldine. And Geraldine was a 6'4" fishmonger with a beard and hand like shovels.
Gerald originally, or not?
Well, I don't know. I didn't like to ask.
So I expect you felt at home, did you?
Oh, thanks very much, mate. Right, I'm off. So during the course of the evening, another Bobby comes in. He said, I've been looking for you everywhere. He said, got a bit of bad news. Your prisoner's had an epileptic fit.
Oh, no.
And the England will fly tomorrow morning. So he's in hospital now. So I thought, bloody hell. So next morning comes along. No, he's still isn't well enough. So what are we going to do? So one of the lads said, well, we'll show you the other side of the island now. So we went round the other side of the island, and about 4 o'clock, this poor lad gets discharged from hospital and he still can't fly. So they had to book us on the night ferry.
All right.
So they had to book a cabin for the three of us. And of course, he's in our custody.
Yeah.
So we have to sit up with him all night then.
Oh, God.
Rather than coming back to Plymouth, they came back to Poole.
All right.
So a car had to come up to Poole to take us back to Newquay. But it was brilliant. It worked well. And of course, if anything like that happens, the prisoner then gets charged with all the expenses as well.
Did they?
Oh, yeah. So as well as his fine, he had to pay a lot of money for us to go and get him.
Did you have to pay going to the gay bar then?
No, that was free.
Oh,
yeah, that's all right.
So then Newquay, how long was you there?
I was there 8 years.
Yeah.
I did most of it on what they call response, which was patrol work, and I did a couple of years as a neighbourhood policeman in the town centre, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
And you spend most of your day walking around, you're getting to know people, the shopkeepers.
Yeah.
And you get involved in community things as well. I helped run Church Youth Club.
Oh, yeah.
And that was fun because we do a different thing each week, and we went horse riding once. And I'd never ridden a horse.
No.
And it was down at Trent's Riding Stables. A lovely woman down there, Janet Burt, who anybody from Newquay would know.
Yeah.
And what I didn't know was that once a year they do a big sponsored ride for the Scouts. And there'd be about 120, 130 horses.
God.
And they'd always have a policeman lead it. And I think Alfie Finnimore used to do it, but he'd moved by now. And she said, well, you're in the police, would you do it? I said, yeah, of course I will. And I've remembered I couldn't ride. So over the next few months, she taught me to ride.
Did she really?
And 2 years following, I led this 30-mile sponsored ride in full uniform.
Brilliant.
But it's something you'd never do now. And it's like when this other boss was down there. He used to get Alf to bring his horse into work, and you'd tell him to ride it round town. And he'd ride round the town in uniform on the horse, yeah. He was brilliant.
I've seen photos of Alf on the horse. Yeah. Brilliant.
But there's no insurance, there's nothing. But
no, exactly.
Nobody worried about that back
then. No. And then you headed up here, did he?
No.
Oh, no.
No. I did 8 years there, and then I went to Penzance, and I did another 8 or 9 years down there, I think.
Right.
And that was like going back home for me because I'd lived down there before and worked down there. But it was nice because you also had St Ives and Hale. And the Isles of Scilly as well. That came under Penzance.
Get away, yeah.
And a couple of times, all they had over there was a sergeant and a PC, and I think there was one special. And occasionally both the sergeant and the PC were off, so they asked for volunteers to go over. And I'd go over there. And there was one time I went over, and the sergeant coming off said, I want you to see the disc go out on the Saturday night, which we used to do anyway. So I worked a split shift. I worked 9 to 1, and then I went in at 10 to do 10 to 2. And about 20 past 10, I went up to the disco, and it was in darkness.
Right.
So I knock on the door, and this woman comes out. She said, can I help you? I said, yeah, I've been told to come up here and check on the disco. She said, well, we don't own till the pub's closed because we don't want to take the business away.
Oh, no.
I thought, all right. So I went off somewhere and had a cup of tea, and I went back again about, 20 past 12 in darkness, knock on the door. She's not open. Oh, yeah, she said we had a good night tonight. We had 12 in, but they've all gone home now.
Oh, no.
So for the next hour and a half, I'm just thinking, what do I do now? But it's a lovely way of life.
Brilliant, yeah.
It's so different, so different.
So then you come up here, did you?
No. No, just hang on with it.
Oh, hell.
I did say 8 years down there. I did 2 years as community out at Marazion, and again, that was brilliant. It was
I
foot
can
patrol.
imagine. Yeah. Do they still do that sort of thing now, then,
No,
community?
they don't.
No.
Not like we used to do.
No.
No, they haven't. Well, they say they've got as many as they used to, but where they are now, I don't really know.
No.
But we used to do a lot of community stuff. We did a sponsored bike ride over to France.
All right.
So
Yeah.
you're not the first.
No, that's good.
But I did that for 8 or 9 years, and then I think it was 98. I left Penzance and I went into the control room at Camborne.
All right.
And Camborne, if you draw a line from Newquay down to Snowstall, everything west of that was under the control room at Camborne.
Oh, I see.
Anywhere east came under Exeter or Plymouth.
Yeah.
Before there used to be a control room at Launceston as well.
Is that like Lanson? Sorry, carry on.
So I was in there for 12 months.
Right.
I really enjoyed that, but I knew when I went in it was only going to be the 12 months. That they kept it open for the eclipse,
Oh, I see.
which was
yeah.
September 99, I think. And then as soon as that happened, they closed it, and then I came up here to Weybridge.
So you did come up here then? I got it eventually.
I did, yeah. I've cut out loads as well, but you know,
Oh, no,
you carry on, mate. It's your podcast.
Well, this is your peak, isn't it? Your,
it doesn't say a lot about the rest of your life, does it?
So how long were you serving up here then?
I came up here 99 and I retired September 2009.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if many people here have actually been in the police station, but I think it's probably one of the oldest in the force.
Is it? All right.
Originally it was a small police station and the other end was a police house. And if you look at it, you've still got the 2 doors there.
Yeah.
And there's stairs either end. So there's a lot of wood in there. So in the early hours of the morning when the heating goes off, everything starts creaking.
Oh,
it's very, very eerie.
Yeah.
And some people have said they've heard footsteps upstairs when they're downstairs.
Oh.
Doors shut in. I never heard that. But what I did find 2 or 3 times, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, when I was on my own, you get a really strong smell of pipe tobacco.
Would you really?
And where it came from, I don't know. You go outside, there'd be nobody about.
No.
But it happened several times. But it was a lovely station to work. And it was quite a big area because we went from Pendoggett down to Porthcothan, which doesn't seem too big, but when you remember you've got the river in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you were over at Rock and they say, on your way back to Weybridge, can you just pop over to Padstow? You think, well, it's 35 minutes from here, but I'll do it. And they don't realise that you've got the river in the middle.
No, exactly.
But Weybridge was lovely, but I started doing other bits and pieces when I was here as well. I'd go off to Middlemore and do recruit assessing.
Oh, right, okay.
So when the new recruits came in, it was a 2-day process then, and they do the paperwork on the first day. And then the second day we go up and we get given a script and we do a role play with them.
Oh, yeah.
We'd mark their paperwork and then there'd be a big group discussion and we had to monitor 2 or 3 people and then mark them. I also did what they called PICS, which was post-incident colleague support.
Right.
And obviously, in the police, you're dealing with so many different situations involving trauma that a number of my colleagues have taken their own lives. So to try and combat that, they brought in this post-incident colleague support, where we go in after a traumatic incident and just speak to the officers involved, and let them know that there are people there that can help them. And if they needed to speak to anybody, then they could.
They could, exactly.
So I did that for a while as well. Plus, I was a tutor constable.
Right. Oh,
so I gave the benefit of my experience to all the youngsters.
Oh, well, could explain a lot.
Well,
today's force.
Yeah. Most of them stayed in, but...
So who was you crewing with then when you was Weybridge?
Oh, the first time I came up, it was Pete Strong.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
And I've seen that. I've got it down somewhere. It's the photograph, the Millennium photograph.
Right.
The 2000, and there was 20 of us.
Was there really?
Yeah, and that included the station inquiry clerk and dear old Sandra Rush. She was the cleaner up there. Ian Ward was there.
Oh, yeah.
Laurie O'Toole. Say Pete Strong, Ian Neal sadly passed on. There were so many. It was a lovely station to work in. We had our own CID. We had an inspector.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there's hardly anybody there, sadly.
No, I mean, when we used to do coroner calls, It was always the local police there. And we used to find it comforting for the families that had lost someone, because quite often it would be a familiar face, not just us, but the police going in there as well.
I think that's what's missing these days.
Yeah,
it's like
definitely.
someone like Tony Wills. Everybody knew Tony.
Exactly.
Bradbury. Those days have gone, sadly.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's how I met you, wasn't it? Sudden death.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You and Father and Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to say about the police inside before we go on, or no?
Go on, there's more to talk about.
Oh, Christ, you've got the pinnacle yet for that.
No, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't want to be doing it now. It's changed so much. So much is based around social media, which we didn't have back then. Everybody's got phones with cameras in them, and things can be taken totally out of context.
Totally, exactly.
Although I did over my 30 years. I don't miss it. I miss the people I work with, but the job as it was, sadly, has gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So I retired in September 2009, and then I went back to work for them again.
Right. Well, I think we'll finish it there for this week. I did let it go on a bit longer than I thought I would, because it just seemed to flow. I got pretty much all of Phil's proper career. When I say that, next week, we'll start the next bit and you'll see what I mean, because he did go back into the police again, but in a different role. But I thought I'd stop it there now. It does mean that Phil's interview next week will be shorter, but that might not be a bad thing. Philip, I'm joking. If you listen to this, Philip, I'm joking. So there we are. So that's a lovely bit again. Anyway, very interesting, and how things have changed. I think for me, Cornish translation this week, perhaps I'll do police station. Now, this actually, it didn't police station as such. It's the House of the Police. That's how it's translated, House of the Police, which is Chiampoli's. Chiampoli's. Now, Chi, you see it spelled C-H-I or C-H-Y here in Cornwall. A lot of people pronounce it shy or chai, but it is actually pronounced chi as in tea. Quite a lot of people do pronounce it wrong, and I don't like to correct them, really. But that's what it is. Chiampoli's, which is House of the Police or Police Station. And I think from a dialect, it'll just be carrying on from last week, because last week I said rough as rats or rough as a badger. I've had a couple more variations on that. One, I know this is perhaps, I won't get away with this, is you listen to this after 9 o'clock in the evening, so we'd pass the watershed, I would think, is rough as a badger's ass, which is one that I was told about last week. And the other one, which I forgot about as well, is rough as a dog's guts. Rough as a dog's guts. So there we are. And obviously, this has got nothing to do with Phil Trevena at all. The fact that every week the dialect seems to be about being rough. I promise you. Right, well, there we are. So I'll leave you for another week. How they fly by. 'Tis October. Where's it going? But I hope you have a good week anyway, and I'll speak to you next week. Wish you well. Do Guinness. Curna Visvican.